Let's see what we get inside the box. The first thing that we have is the phone itself, wrapped in plastic. Up next is the wall charger, which is not a fast charger and has a maximum output rating of 5 watts and 1 amperes. Up next we have some paperwork and warranty information, and for the ones interested, here are the SAR values. The USB cable provided is a standard USB, but I wish it was a bit longer. No, seriously Samsung, look at this is tiny. Moving on, we have some earphones which are not the best quality, but at this price point, I'm not complaining. Next, we have the 2600 mAh battery, which in my opinion should be sufficient to power this HD screen. Finally, we have the NFC sticker, which we will discuss about later in the video. Let's look at the design and build quality first. Samsung has gone with an unusual design this time around and have decided to give different colors to the top and bottom bezel. The phone, although made of plastic completely, feels sturdy and comfortable in the hand. As it is a 5-inch screen, you should be able to use it comfortably with one hand. The power button is located at the right hand side, while the volume keys can be found on the left. The top of the phone has a standard 3.5mm headphone jack, while the bottom makes way for the charging port and a microphone. The front of the phone has the 5-megapixel camera with some sensors on the left. The bottom bezel has the also familiar Samsung home button with the capacitive multitasking and back buttons on either side, which are not backlit. Towards the back, we have the 8-megapixel camera with a single speaker on the right. Below that is some Samsung and 4G branding. The back cover is also removable and houses the 2600 mAh battery with 2 SIM card slots and a dedicated microSD card slot, which can support cards up to 128 GB. The display on the J3 is a 5-inch HD Super AMOLED panel with a pixel density of 294. This is one area where Samsung has a distinct advantage over the other OEMs. When it comes to displays, it's really hard to beat Samsung. Although it only has an HD screen, the colors really pop out because of the Super AMOLED display technology. The viewing angles are also quite acceptable. Samsung also gives you an option to tweak the display settings according to your preference. My favorite is the AMOLED video, which saturates the color even further. But if you're not a fan of eye-popping colors, I would suggest to stick with the basic mode, which provides the most accurate colors. One complaint I have is the omission of the auto brightness sensor. But on the upside, you do get an outdoor mode, which can make the screen fairly legible in direct sunlight. Overall, I think it's a fantastic display at this price point. The J3 has Samsung's custom UI running on top of Android Lollipop 5.1.1. The software is pretty basic, as a lot of features like multi-window, palm swipe to capture a screenshot, pop-up view, which are present on Samsung's mid-range and high-end phones, is missing. On the upside, features like double press of the home button to launch the camera and a theme store are present. You can choose from a variety of themes, as this theme store now has an extensive list of themes available for download. My favorite theme is the Android 6.0 Marshmallow, which makes the UI look and feel a lot closer to stock Android. My biggest complaint with the software is the amount of bloatware Samsung has decided to include with the J3. Apps like OneNote, Opera Max, a couple of unwanted games and a whole suite of Microsoft apps have been preloaded on the phone. These apps might be useful for some users, but because they can't be uninstalled, they end up taking a lot of space on the phone, and to make matters worse, the J3 only comes with 8 GB of internal storage. Samsung has also launched a brand new feature with the Galaxy J3 called the SBike Mode for active riders. This feature can also be activated by tapping the Galaxy J3 with an NFC sticker that ships inside the retail box. Once this feature is activated, a caller trying to reach the Galaxy J3 owner can be notified through an automated answering system called Smart Reply. However, callers can also choose to press 1 to force their call to go through in case of an emergency. The Smart Reply option also allows the user to select contacts that will receive a predefined text message. I found this feature to be a bit gimmicky, but some people might find it useful. The Samsung Galaxy J3 has a 2600 mAh battery powering this phone. I'd really had high hopes from this battery, as the J3 only has a 720p HD screen, which means not many pixels to push for the battery. So, was it able to deliver? Well, not really. On average, I was only able to get a screen on time of 4 to 4.5 hours during regular to moderate use. The standby time, however, was really good as I only lost about 4% of battery during my sleep. The charging time was average as well. Because the phone does not support quick charging, it took a massive 3 hours to charge the battery from 0 to 100%. As for performance, the phone is powered by the Spectrum quad-core processor, which is based on a very old ARM Cortex A7 architecture. This is backed by a Mali 400MP GPU and 1.5GB of RAM. The benchmark scores I got were average as well. Antutu gave a score of 25,570, Geekbench 3 returned a single core score of 403 and a multi-core score of 1274. The day-to-day performance on the phone was good. Apps loaded quickly and there was little to no lag during regular usage. All was not great though, as I noticed some stutter and lag when opening and closing folders and when navigating through the settings menu. There was an unusual delay when I tried to hit the back button from anywhere in the settings menu. This could be due to the old processor Samsung had decided to put in this phone. Gaming performance on the phone was very good as I could play graphically intensive games like Nova 3 without much problem. I won't call it the smoothest gaming experience possible, but the games were more than playable. I've already done a full gaming review which will be uploaded soon after this video goes online. Let's talk cameras now. The Galaxy J3 has an 8MP rear camera and a 5MP front camera. This is another area where Samsung has an edge over the other phones at this price point. The camera app is very similar to what you get with other Samsung phones and can be opened by a double press of the home button. Samsung has also included modes like continuous shot and a pro mode, which lets you change the ISO and white balance as per your liking. The rear camera can take some very good looking and crisp shots in good lighting and outdoor conditions. The autofocus and shutter speed is not the fastest, but once you lock focus, the results are pretty good. The camera does tend to overexpose in some conditions, but overall I was very happy with the results. Shots taken in artificial light and low lighting were also very acceptable. There is a little bit of noise that creeps in really low light conditions, but that is expected out of every smartphone camera at this price point. The flash also does a good job and does not overexpose photos. My only complaint with the rear facing camera is that it can record videos in 720p HD, that means no full HD videos. However, the video quality is really good and the digital stabilization also works very well. Tap to focus is also available when recording videos from the rear camera. The front-facing camera is a 5MP shooter and can take some decent selfies. However, video recording capability of the front camera is also limited to 720p HD. Overall, I was really impressed by the set of cameras Samsung has provided at this price point. Before I finish my review, I wanted to make a special mention about the call quality, which is simply fantastic on this phone. The earpiece on the phone gets really loud and there is no distortion even when you enable the extra volume mode. The external speaker, however, is quite disappointing as the sound output is very low and it even tends to distort at higher volumes. Another problem I faced with the phone was in the storage department. Although the phone memory can be expanded up to 128GB, not all the apps can be moved to the SD card. This can give you a lot of trouble if you decide to download heavy games like Nova 3, so keep that in mind before you decide to buy this phone. The Samsung Galaxy J3 is overpriced. Priced at Rs 8,900 in India. At this price point, it faces stiff competition from more capable phones like the Lenovo K5 Plus, the LTV La 1S, and the recently launched Redmi Note 3. If you're a Samsung fan and want a good display and above average cameras in a budget phone, I can happily recommend the J3 to you. On the other hand, if you're looking at value for money, I would say go with phones like the Redmi Note 3, which offer incredible value at almost the same price. So guys, what do you think about the Galaxy J3? Do share your experiences in the comment section below if you've already purchased one. Please like and share this video, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe. As always, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.